Organizations, ASEAN India Center AIC of RIS, India, South Asia Watch on Trade, Economics and Environment, Southi of Nepal, Indian Studies Center ISSC of Chulalongkorn University, Thailand, Pathfinder Foundation of Sri Lanka, and Center for Research on Bhutanese Society, Bhutan. So in this welcome session, I'm glad to be joined by speakers from our partner organizations. And we have with us Mr. Achyut Bhandari, co-founder, Center for Research on Bhutanese Society, Bhutan, Dr. Probir De, Professor, ASEAN India Center, AIC Research and Information System for Developing Countries, RIS, New Delhi, Dr. Pushpa Sharma, Executive Director, South Asia Watch on Trade, Economics and Environment, Southi, Nepal, Ambassador Sumit Nakandala, Distinguished Fellow, Pathfinder Foundation and former Secretary General, BIMSTEC, Sri Lanka, and Dr. Surat Horachaikul, Director, Indian Studies Center, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. So this is the welcome session, as you know. We will have an inaugural session immediately after that where Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, he will inaugurate the program, as well as we'll be extremely delighted to have the Secretary General of BIMSTEC to join as a special guest in that session. So with these very few introductory remarks, I now welcome Mr. Achyut Bhandari, co-founder, Center for Research on Bhutanese Society, Bhutan, to share a few words with us.
Good evening, Dr. Salim Raihan. It's good to see you. We have met a couple of times, I think, in Bhutan and elsewhere, and I'm very happy to be associated in this event. Let me start. Distinguished representatives of the research family in BIMSTEC countries and participants in the Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue. It is an honor for me to speak at the welcome session of the Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue 2021. I do so on behalf of the Center for Research on Bhutanese Society, or CRBS in short, that is privileged to collaborate with the other 6 research organizations in the region in arranging this dialogue at a very critical time in our collective battle against COVID-19. I thank Professor Salim Raihan for Sanem Dhaka for his leadership in arranging this event. Special thanks go out to Professor Probir De of RIS New Delhi for his invitation to CRBS and for his guidance. As one of the smallest member countries of BIMSTEC, Bhutan has been struggling to cope with the adverse impact of COVID-19 for a year. Apart from its crushing impact on the expansion and growth of the economy, the pandemic has caused tremendous social and emotional stress on the people, especially on those who are daily wage earners and who work in the tourism and hospitality sector. Our people have been unable to move freely, even within the country, due to the required travel restrictions. The construction industry has virtually come to a standstill owing to the shortage of labor and materials. Bhutanese nationals working abroad had to return home suddenly because of termination of their employment and for personal safety, causing drastic reduction in the inflow of remittances. The food production and distribution system was disrupted, especially during the 2 lockdowns that together lasted for 3 months between August 2020 and January 2021. The health sector expenditure has been huge, understandably, for procuring testing equipment and medical supplies. Ensuring enough health professionals to manage the emergency situation has become the big challenge for the Bhutanese health authorities, particularly during the lockdowns. Thanks to the extraordinary leadership of His Majesty the King and the ruling government, Bhutan entered into immediate action from day 1 when the first case was detected in the beginning of March 2020. Testing and quarantine facilities were established nationwide, along with strict enforcement of preventive rules and health protocols. Trained volunteers were deployed in the south to guard the long and porous border and regulate movement of people and vehicular traffic. The government also took some important initiatives in the beginning to meet urgent needs. A national resilience fund of new 30 billion was set up as a source of finance as a source to finance remedial measures. An economic contingency plan of new 4.5 billion was also launched to vitalize growth in agriculture and construction and tackle the fallout from tourism. As of now, about 50,000 people who have lost their jobs or are unable to support themselves have received cash grants ranging from new 7,000 to new 12,000 per person per month. Economic and financial incentives have been provided to the private sector to help maintain business operations. In a combined effort, the government and financial institutions have deferred interest payment for a year. These initiatives have eased difficulties and helped to maintain a degree of normalcy. On the positive side, control COVID-related deaths. Out of these 861 COVID positive cases detected as of yesterday, 854 have recovered, giving a recovery rate of 99%. And 6 active cases are in quarantine at the moment. Sadly, however, Bhutan too lost 1 life from the virus. I'm sure that each BIMSTEC country has taken steps suited to its needs to reduce the negative effects of the pandemic. Regrettably, even after more than 14 months of its first appearance, there is no sign of the virus being eliminated. Instead, it is rapidly mutating into thousands of variants, casting doubt in the efficacy of different vaccines being used against the virus. This is an indication that the pandemic will not go away very soon. It poses serious challenge to BIMSTEC governments to save more people from being infected by the virus and to chart out a clear path for economic recovery. This inevitably calls for enhanced cooperation among the member countries. I hope that the next 3 days of discussion will enrich our knowledge and understanding on several important items listed in the agenda and enable us to make suggestions for member governments to consider them. The pandemic gives non-governmental actors like the research community the opportunity to leverage the official process of cooperation under BIMSTEC so that the regional body can rise to the occasion and forge more substantive cooperation in the future. As a newcomer, the CRBS looks forward to network with more matured research institutions within BIMSTEC to advance our common interest. Thank you, Dr. Salim.
Thank you, Mr. Bhandari. I think it was an excellent welcome remarks from your side. May I now move to Dr. Prabir De, Professor, ASEAN India Center, Research and Information System for Developing Countries, RIS New Delhi. I must say a few words before Dr. Prabir De takes his microphone on, that he was the most instrumental person in organizing this event. So thank you, Dr. Prabir De, for putting us together and having this initiative. So Dr. De, over to you, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Namaskar, Dr. Raihan, my friends, and every participant and everyone for coming together and joining this first Bay of Bengal Economic Conclave 2021. I hope this will continue in coming years under your guidance and participation of all our good friends from the region. RIS, one of the partners of this conclave, and RIS is not only the partner of this forum. RIS has also initiated many such in the past. When I recollect the studies done by our former Director General, RIS is one of the founder organizers of BNPTT. That's a network of think tank in the Bay of BIMSTEC countries. So RIS is very happy to join ASEAN India Center at RIS in particular, happy to join this forum and working together for other partners in making it a grand success. Today's forum, today's discussion, this is not just a single event. This This is a very much part of the leaders' declaration. If you look at the fourth Bay of Bengal BIMSTEC countries summit declarations, the section 43 tells that the leader calls that the people of the Bay of Bengal region to have more forums. And so this is the forum that we have today actually fulfills the leader calls for such coming up with a forum like this. So thank you very much, Dr. Raihan and other friends, for joining hands and making it a success. This is a beginning, and I'm sure in coming years this will continue. And this one of the objectives of the forum is also to people to enhance, strengthen the people to people contact. So in a way, this has a larger objective than other forums or other networks the region has. And I have seen the program. The program has 13 sessions, and over 70 speakers. They will be presenting over, I think, a couple of 20 or 30 papers, if I may be allowed to be just a kind of an aggregate number like that, and over 3 days. So this is perhaps the first time I've seen the people from the region coming together, and they will be presenting voluntarily on several aspects on Bay of Bengal region, particularly in those areas which are very much important which are important for the post-COVID-19 recovery. I am sure this dialogue is going to give us new ideas, new papers. Particularly, it will encourage young minds. We need them very much on board and make them active in different areas of the Bay of Bengal cooperations. We call it Bay of Bengal, not just BIMSTEC. So BIMSTEC is one of the initiatives in the Bay of Bengal region. So, and if you look at very carefully the agenda, it has many new areas which are very much important, which will supplement the way the BIMSTEC initiatives they have taken, particularly public health. So over, I think this session is long due, long over, and I'm sure this is going to give many new ideas, not only to the Secretariat, but also to the larger audience. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity to speak in the inaugural session. And thank you, Dr. Raihan. And also I must, when you said that, about me, that who actively worked with you, I actually also got huge amount of support and encouragement from the first Secretary General of the BIMSTEC, Ambassador Sumit Nakandala, who is also with us. And along with Professor Surat, Mr. Achyut, my good friend, and you, friends from Sri Lanka, Dr. Ganesh Vignaraja, many others from the Myanmar who could not join, Dr. Joe, because of the current situations. So all 7 think tanks, organizations, and many others from the region, like those who are sharing Bay of Bengal water, they will be participating, presenting their papers and their thoughts over the 2-3 days time. So thank you very much, and we look forward to having interactions. From RIS, the Director General will be addressing in the inaugural session, so I also welcome him in this 3 days forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pravidya. I think it was an excellent deliberation from your side, especially setting the context, as well as the fact that we are thinking of a broader Bay of Bengal region. And especially even in this program, it's not only from the BIMSTEC countries, but also from Singapore, National University of Singapore. We are seeing participation from Malaysia and from also people outside of this region. So I think, and that's the kind of expectation I echo with you, that we're hoping that this will continue and this will become a kind of forum for regular interaction amongst the academicians, students, policymakers, and business people. And as you rightly mentioned, that it's a people-to-people connectivity. All these things, we wanted to actually put these things together in this first dialogue on the Bay of Bengal region. And also one thing we'd like to mention, that because of the COVID situation, we're having this webinar, but we look forward to having a program with a physical presence, physical interaction. But we are also finding it very useful, this webinar, that this platform also gives the opportunity of low transaction cost in participation. So we look forward to actually having this kind of event in the future too. And I think this is a kind of technological advancement and we must take advantage of it. So with this, I now welcome Dr. Pushpa Sharma, Executive Director, South Asia Watch on Trade Economics and Environment, Saudi from Nepal, who has been an excellent partner of this initiative. And Pushpa, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Rayan. Hello, everyone. I send my greetings from Kathmandu. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. As a co-organizer of this Bay of Bengal Economic Dialogue 2021, I'm pleased to welcome all of you to this 3+ day event. And on behalf of Saudi, please accept my welcome. To some of you, to those of you who are not aware of Saudi, just to put it in brief, Saudi is a think tank based in Kathmandu. It was formed as a regional network, a loose regional network in '94, but it was formally established as a non-governmental organization registered in Kathmandu in 1999. So if you look at BIMSTEC particularly, although my friend said that this forum has been designed thinking of issues and cooperation beyond BIMSTEC, and so it has been named Bay of Bengal Forum. But if you take BIMSTEC, which is a formal establishment so far, Saudi is at least as old as BIMSTEC. So Saudi, here we undertake policy research and advocacy works on many different issues of trade economics and environment, as our name suggests. We work independently and also in collaboration with many member organizations and partner institutions in South Asia and beyond South Asia. So this forum, as Dr. Rayan said in the beginning, almost first of its kind, this is an initiation of Dr. Salim Rayan and Dr. Prabir Dey. So at the outset, I would like to thank both of you very much for taking this initiative and inviting Saudi to join this forum. We were very happy and very excited that this forum is going to take place, and then we were very happy to join as a co-organizer. We are also delighted to collaborate with other think tanks and other institutions of the Bay of Bengal region in organizing this forum. And we hope this will be a continuous process, and we hope we will be able to bring in board many more organizations as we move ahead, organizing this forum in the future as well. Whether this will be in the format of a webinar as it is after things return to new normal, or whether we will be doing it physically, we will see how best we can move ahead on this, because there are both costs and benefits. But definitely we have to move ahead in any way is possible. This forum has to move on, and we will be providing our support in organizing this in the future. Now, coming to the issue of regional cooperation, as we all know, the regional cooperation in this part of the world, in this region of the world, actually, if we don't take ASEAN, if we especially look at South Asia, has not advanced much. There has been very minimal progress so far, as we see. We know the issue with regional cooperation issue with SAARC. With BIMSTEC also, I think the progress so far has been very dismal. One of the objectives of BIMSTEC is to act as a pool between, as a bridge between South Asia and Southeast Asia. But as we look at what BIMSTEC has done so far, I think the progress has been dismal. If you look at the numbers, by taking the numbers of the different, Bay of Bengal countries in terms of how they have been doing, perhaps it gives a positive picture in some cases. For example, if you look at Bhutan and Nepal, we see that much of their trade is with countries in the Bay of Bengal region. But then if you disaggregate that, what do we see? That is because of these two countries' extreme reliance on India for their trade. And this is being happened under the bilateral relationship, under the bilateral agreements. So what has happened under the BIMSTEC framework? If you look at the BIMSTEC framework or other regional frameworks, it is not very, heartening. So I think there is so much to learn and so much to do in this region. And especially at this time when all the countries have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic in many ways similar and many ways different. And also because we have countries at different levels of development in this region, many developing countries and many least developed countries. And also among the least developed countries, many are going to graduate soon, many are doing exceptionally well, while some are lagging behind. So I think there is a lot that we can learn from each other. There are experience to share, and there is a lot of collaboration that these countries can make with each other in terms of moving forward. So although this is a crisis at the moment, I think this can also be an opportunity where countries can learn many things. And the first of that is about extending collaboration in terms of public health issues. Now the vaccines are being developed. And when we look at our region, I think it is India on which many of us are going to depend on and we're looking forward to. So this might be one step of extending the collaboration among the Bay of Bengal countries. And of course, there are many other areas. Perhaps not all the areas could be covered in this 3-day event. For example, say tourism is one, where many of the countries in the Bay of Bengal region have the potential to offer and also learn from each other. So this could be areas where we can discuss further as we move ahead and strengthen the collaboration among the BIMSTEC countries. So I will not go into the details. We have a lot of papers. We have got a lot of organizations lined up in the 3 days starting tomorrow. So we hope to have many new insights coming from these papers and the deliberations that we will be witnessing from tomorrow, that we will be participating in from tomorrow in these different events. So with these words, I welcome you all once again. I thank you for joining us today, and I hope you will actively participate in the sessions starting tomorrow for 3 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pushpa. I think it was an excellent deliberation, and especially the point you mentioned at one point of your discussion, that the kind of interdependence among the countries, especially when it comes to vaccine, and we are heavily dependent on India's, especially the Serum Institute. They are producing vaccine, and many of these countries in the BIMSTEC region, they are taking this help from India. So I think this is a very specific area of cooperation, and this can show the practicality of how cooperation actually lead to a welfare gain for all these countries. And I thank you especially for highlighting some of the challenges you mentioned among the BIMSTEC countries. Thank you, Pushpa, and I look forward to the engagement over the next 3 days. Especially, we have so many sessions and so many very experts of this region. They'll be talking on many relevant issues. And one specific session is actually there on health, where we have been able to bring actually some of the leading health experts from this region who will be talking on this particular issue. So with this, I'd like to invite now Ambassador Sumit Nakandala, Distinguished Fellow Pathfinder Foundation and former Secretary General of BIMSTEC. So Ambassador Nakandala, he has been a very close friend of ours. And actually, he's very close to this initiative. And he was I would say, one of the visionaries to actually having this kind of platform too. So over to you, Ambassador Nakandala, and look forward to hearing a few words from your side.
Thank you, Salim.
Mr. Nakandala, we can't hear you. Yes, now we can hear you.
Yeah, now.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Thank you very much, Salim, and I'm very grateful to see some of my dear friends across the Bay of Bengal participating in this important event. In fact, as Prabir said in his remarks, as well as your remarks, this idea of having a Bay of Bengal Economic Forum or platform was little few years ago. If I remember, Surat and Prabir will certainly correct if I am wrong. In fact, it was the initiative and idea from the Secretariat that we should have a Bay of Bengal Economic Forum, track 2.0, because already there is a Bay of BIMSTEC Economic Forum. But we thought that it is important to bring track 2.0. That is why we suggested from the Secretariat. I think it was during the second BNPT meeting, which was held in Bangkok, we proposed this idea, but several reasons prevented, because resource crunch is also very important. But I think this is something that the COVID-19 has brought. Even though physical presence and interaction is not possible, we are meeting. I think this whole thing has given a new life to the regional cooperation. Why do we have this kind of Bay of Bengal Economic Forum or dialogue, whatever name, that nomenclature that you use? There is no problem, but we wanted from the Secretariat to bring all the stakeholders, not only policymakers, but academia, research people, and then in a very inclusive manner, all the stakeholders, not only the BIMSTEC member states, but also those who have linkages to Bay of Bengal, because Bay of Bengal is part of the humanity. Bay of Bengal has its own life. In fact, I used to oftenly refer to the crossing the Bay of Bengal by the book. Surat is also very aware about that. One of the things that taught very hard the necessity for regional cooperation and integration is the COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought without any question, the need and imperative of coming together, which Pushpa has very eloquently put, that the vaccine produced by India, and then India is taking a lead role. And likewise, I think there are a number of areas where we need to work, and then that is why we are coming together as partners of regional cooperation and finally regional economic integration. Now, BIMSTEC, since its establishment in 1997, we have come 23 years. In 2014, we established the Secretariat. By now, we have the third Secretary General. This organization, as intergovernmental organization, it has its own evolution. It has its own evolution depending on the dynamics, social, economic, and political dynamics of the member states, and then its commitment for the regional cooperation and fostering regional cooperation. Now, that is a very instrumental platform, bringing South Asia and Southeast Asia together. In fact, I have seen during my tenure as Secretary General the commitment of member states for regional cooperation and integration. What is lacking, I suppose, in order to elaborate, which we need to address actually, we can address these issues a forum like this, because it has the necessary wherewithal and it has necessary resources. What is possible in order to achieve greater regional cooperation and integration? Is it only the economic sense, basically saying that BIMSTEC FTA? If the BIMSTEC FTA is not possible, then what is possible to bring the member states together? What are the areas where we can do? In fact, I'm very grateful to Dr. Prabir Dey and Salim and a couple of others who worked with me during that period, including our late friend Saman Kalegama, who have been a greater supporter of the BIMSTEC and the regional integration in Bay of Bengal region. So I'm very happy to see that after a few years, the ideas that we discussed in 2015 had come through, which means that we are progressing. The organization is progressing, and track 1.5 and 2.0 process is extremely relevant and extremely important in terms of advocacy aspect. So, which means that the final conclusions and the recommendations of this dialogue will be extremely helpful for the policymakers to take the integration and cooperation process forward. Uh, I think both Salim and Prabir said that this will, their wish is to continue this economic dialogue. I think we must continue this, because as Salim said that the online platform is more effective and less cost involvement. I think that's true, but what is important is to have finally, before the conclusion of the economic dialogue, at least to have a consensual document agreed upon by all the participants, participating institutions. And I think we should also open Bay of Bengal economic dialogue for like-minded organization in the region, at least a couple of others, so that their participation, their ideas, their effective interaction with each other will be very important. And I'm personally very happy. I'm a very happy day for me personally, because some of the things that we discussed a few years ago had come through, and I'm also happy to be part of this extremely relevant, extremely important process. Finally, I think the COVID-19 had repeatedly emphasized that there is no way out other than regional cooperation, and at the regional level, and the cooperation at the global level, including the efforts undertaken by WHO and United Nations other agencies, are extremely important. At least at the regional level, the regional cooperation is the uh, absolute answer for such um, non-traditional security threat which has been faced by the humanity here. So I welcome all the participants, all the participating organizations. A special thanks to Salim for taking the lead in organizing this important event, and Prabir for providing constant support and encouragement. And also, I must say, for the record, our friend Surat has also been a very important and instrumental friend. More than a colleague, he is a friend of the Bay of Bengal. We all are fascinated by the charmness of the Bay of Bengal, and it is the largest bay, I suppose, in the world, and it has its own history. The Bay of Bengal has its own rhythm. It's a rhythmic nature of the Bay of Bengal, which had attracted all of us. I am fascinated personally by the Bay of Bengal, not because I am part of that, but I think it is our life, and our future lies on how we manage the Bay of Bengal for the future prosperity. And for that, in order to succeed that, the most important thing is that enhancing and deepening regional cooperation, and try to explore the possibilities without further delay. How do we integrate our economies together, and to bring about the Bay of Bengal economic community? Thank you, Salim. Thank you, Prabir, Pushpa, and Surat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Nakandala, for your such an inspiring words. I think this will actually guide us for the for this initiative, and as well as similar initiatives in the future. Just to highlight, I think you mentioned a couple of many important points. I just want to pick 2 points. One is that this forum is actually is an open forum. It's inclusive. So any like-minded institution can actually partner with us, and then we want to carry this partnership in future too. And second, as you rightly pointed out, that whatever we discuss during this forum and during this dialogue, we'll try to provide actually a summary of it towards the very end of this program. So, and we can refine it, and we look forward to actually sharing this document with the relevant policymakers and stakeholders in this region. Thank you again. And Mr. Nakandala, I look forward to the engagement with you in the next 3 days. So now I move to Dr. Surat Hora Chaikul, Director, Indian Studies Center, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. And we know Thailand is a very important partner of Bay of Bengal Initiative and BIMSTEC. So Dr. Surat, over to you, and look forward to hearing your welcome message.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, Dr. Surat, we can hear you.
Okay, I have just moved to a new house. I'm renting a new place, so the Wi-Fi is not very good here, but I'm trying my level best, okay? I'm not sure whether this should be a welcome sessions or not, you see, because I'm seeing all old friends' faces, and I'm just so happy that possibly we could change this into dinner or something like that, okay? Because seeing everyone here is so joyful, rather than delivering any welcoming statement as such, I will try to be very informal as much as possible as I can, because, seeing all of you make me so happy. And first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to good friends of mine, Professor Prabir De and Dr. Salim Rayhan, okay? Your immense contribution to ensure that this dialogue takes place, okay? So very, very good. And this is another initiative, of course, at regional level that we could do. In Thailand, although I'm the director of Indian Studies Center of Chulalongkorn University, but my center is also the Thailand's official think tanks of BIMSTEC. So this is why I am here and so on. So we have been talking about BIMSTEC everywhere, and recently also we have published full research on BIMSTECs with ITD. We have done another sections of research also to help businessmen and SME to understand about BIMSTECs and so on. So yes, during COVID-19, there's no much to do, but at the same time, we don't want to waste time. We find that in every single opportunity, you can do this through radio, television, you can talk to people what BIMSTEC is all about, and so on. And why would BIMSTEC serve us? All is what I have been doing, and I will keep doing this, okay? Whether I have my positions or not, that doesn't matter, because it is my love for Bay of Bengal. And we want to connect with each other, because end of the day, it will be prosperity for all of us. So this is something I look forward to always. I can actually use this to inform you all that around early 2000s, we met in Kolkata with Professor Prabir De and other friends and so on. I think there were no more than 12 or 14 people in that room, discussing about Bay of Bengal, BIMSTEC and stuff like that. So today we are here, you see, with a lot of youngsters, a lot of friends, and in Thailand, more and more students are now, they know about BIMSTECs and so on. So I think we have made quite a progress, In the beginning, there was no Secretariat Office, and then came Ambassador Sumit Nakandala, okay, who was very down to earth, okay, and could sit down with us until 8 or 9 p.m. To discuss what should we do and so on, I think it's because our love for the Bay of Bengal is the love that we see that how the Bay of Bengal could actually benefit people in the Bay of Bengal, make us move very fast, make us do something all the time. So never give up. I think there are many youngsters here in this economic dialogue, okay? And I'm sure that the new generation, okay, you are the future. And definitely I can see some students making some comments in chat and so on. And end of the day, this Bay of Bengal things belongs to all the youngsters, and they are the one who will help decide, what should the future be and so on. So I think COVID-19, okay, like our friend Pushpa Sharma said from Nepal, it is definitely a crisis, okay, that it makes a lot of people out of business, make people suffer and so on. But at the same time, okay, crisis like this test us, okay, put us on test, okay, and we definitely need more and more cooperation for economic recovery. Okay, whether you talk about connectivity, global supply chains, and other kind of things, there is no doubt that the more we have cooperation in economic front and others, it will be of immense benefits to all of us. So I think I can end it here. And once again, in this welcoming sessions, I would like to thank all of you, okay, who are here, and very happy to see you all here. Except that it should have been a dinner, and we could have been sitting in front of each other so that we could talk more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Surat, and for excellent deliberation, and from your side, and especially the kind of very warm welcome from your side. That and we feel so much encouraged, and especially you mentioned about the youngsters in this region, and they have to take this baton up and to take this agenda forward, this regional integration agenda forward. And we look forward to the actually engagement of these youngsters of the next 3 days, because there are many sessions where they are presenting papers, they are actually engaging with panels. So, and also there are many participants from this region, students and young researchers. So we look forward to their engagement over the next 3 days or so. I must say that, this has been a wonderful session with a very brief welcome session. We'll have the formal inaugural session in 15 minutes from now, where Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh and Honorable Secretary General of BIMSTEC, they'll be there as the chief guest and special guest respectively, as well as there will be several dignitaries from this region to say the few words in that inaugural session. So I welcome you all to this inaugural session, and also I must thank all the speakers today in this welcome session. And special thanks to, of course, Prabir De, and all my friends, Dr. Ambassador Sumit Nagandala, Pushpa Sharma, Dr. Surat, Mr. Achut Bhandari. So with this, I'd like to close this welcome session. I know there are the participants, they would be tempted to ask questions or make comments, but actually we'll have scopes to make comments and questions over the next 3 days. So, and I look forward to engagement during various sessions over the next 3 days. With this, I'd like to conclude this welcome session. And thank you, and see you in the next session, in the inaugural session.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Raya.
Thank you. Thank you. Ishrat, can you please upload the flyer for the next session?